Hello and welcome back to Female Voices Life and Loss. And I am super excited to get this interview underway. And I am joined today, I'm Teresa Reiniger, and I'm joined today with my co-host,
Wayna Perry.
Wayna Perry. We're both here today. It doesn't happen all the time, but Silvia is our guest, and she is in for a treat because now she's got both of us double duo today.
I'm so happy.
Yeah, we are happy to have you. So I know that you're going to share with us a lot of information. You have been on quite the journey, an awakening, some healing, some empowering, and so that you're also in the coaching realm, I'll say.
Yeah.
So this should be a really fun and interesting episode for you to share. And can you share, Silvia, a little bit about you? And so the audience knows where you live, where you're coming from, so that they can understand a little bit where that accent comes from.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I come from Austria. I come from Graz, which is basically the city or close to the city, to the area where Arnold Schwarzenegger was born. So there's the connection for the Americans. Yeah.
With the voice, too, that accent connection.
I hope my English is a little better than his was in the beginning.
It is.
Sorry. It was horrible.
Yeah.
But I like him. I like him. I have to say.
Like him. Yeah.
He's nice.
We like him over here too. So share a little bit about you, your background, and then we'll get more into the topic that we're going to kind of talk about today.
Yeah. So my life started a little bit difficult, I have to say, because I'm an alone-born twin, but I didn't know it at the beginning. But ever since I was growing up, I had this feeling, that something is missing, that I'm not completely wholesome, if that makes sense. So I was always looking for something, always on the melancholic side. And I also had my episodes with depression very early on. And so I was always on the lookout. But I was always also taught to focus on school, to be a good girl, to work, to climb the corporate ladder. So I became a kindergarten teacher first. And after that, I was studying business economics. And then I was working in the human resource management. Then I felt like, it's not me. I don't fit in. This is also something that I've always felt in my whole life. I don't fit in. I need to do something for myself. And so I decided to make my own company. So I started to do consulting in the human resource management area. And then I went all of a sudden. Then I found out about the twin situation, that I was an alone-born twin. That was in 2020. And it opened up a lot for me, and I understood my life a little bit better. But then again, I had this phase of depression again in 2022. And then we had a trip to Zanzibar, it's in Tanzania. And I didn't really expect much. I was just hoping the cliche African people are so funny, so open, dancing. So this is what my expectations were. And then I went there, and of course they are very funny, and it was a lot of dancing and a lot of joy. But I also met the Maasai people there. They are here on Zanzibar to work there. And they showed me a different side. And in 2 weeks, they changed my whole life. And I cried on the airport. I didn't want to go back. And 2 months later, I went back there for 3 months. And ever since, I'm in between the worlds. Yeah. And this year, I had another phase of depression. And then there was this last awakening. And it changed again everything for myself. All of it leads together. And made me the person that I am today. And professionally, ever since 2023, I'm a coach. I made my coaching accreditation, ICF accreditation. Yeah, and now I'm guiding people on their way to do the same.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So first thing I want you to explain, just in case there's a listener that doesn't understand, can you explain what a lone-born twin is?
Yeah. So in the beginning of the pregnancy, my mom was supposed to have 2 babies. So there were 2 dots on the ultrasound in the 80s. And then because I was talking to her afterwards, and then afterwards one was vanishing, and but nobody was talking about it. And when I did my research, it's called vanished twin syndrome also. And sometimes you have it, for example, that you can see in the placenta, the absorbed baby is in the placenta. Of course, they don't show it to the mom, but the medical stuff, they can see it. Sometimes it also happens that the twin is somewhere on your body. This is something, sometimes it's growing out and then they have to extract it or something like that. So this is actually what's happening. And it's something that happens in about 30 to 40% of the pregnancies in the beginning, that there are more babies and then just one or two
Right.
survive, basically.
Yeah. Yeah. So you believe that's kind of where a lot of your depression and not understanding what was missing came from that? Is that
Yeah.
correct?
Yeah.
Okay.
So when I did my, my inner child healing, and also during the last experience, I clearly saw my sister, and I felt it, and it's very real for me. Also, this feeling of guilt, why I'm here, why didn't she come? So this is also something that I've always experienced, and I always made myself small, if that makes sense. I didn't love myself, and then that's basically a mix, and then it developed.
I love that Wayna is joining us today because a lot of your careers kind of look like they overlap and are very similar. Would you agree with that, Wayna?
Yeah. Ironically, I had a client this week talk about the same guilt of that they held because their twin died when
Mm.
they were babies. So it's a real thing.
So,
That guilt is real too. Because this client is like 18, 19 and still kind of feels like,
mm,
my sister should be here instead of me.
That
yeah,
survivor's kind
Yeah.
of guilt.
Remote.
Yeah. So share with us more about, you talked about your trip to Tanzania and the
yeah.
awakening and all this stuff. Talk deeper, talk more about that. Like, what was that like and what did you experience there that really is
Yeah.
now supporting you on what you're doing now?
I mean, you have to understand that when I went to Zanzibar, I was having this perfect life. I was having everything, and everyone told me, "Yeah, you should be happy. You have beautiful house and the car and this," and it was all external things. But inside, I felt so hollow. So yeah, something is missing. And then, as I said before, I went to Tanzania, and the first thing that I remember is that there is so much poverty, of course, because you go out of the airport and you see the people. They have no electricity. They run around sometimes without shoes. But the second view is also they are so happy, and this is like, oh my God, how is that possible? And so yeah, then I was there and I met the Maasai people, and that was also a very pivotal moment because I was on a trip on the Safari Blue, and there were two boats, and they told me to go on the right boat. And there was this Maasai with a group of people there, and they were going on the left boat. And I had this drawing. I wanted to talk to him. And so I was, I don't have to go on the right boat. But then in the last minute, they say, no, left. And I was like, yeah. So I went there, and that's when I met Mango, and we are still very close friends. And yeah, he started to talk with me. His father has 12 wives, and they have around, I don't know, what did he say, 110 siblings, something like that. So yeah, it was crazy. It was so eye-opening. They brought me back to
Wow.
myself. So we went to eat local food. And so everything very basic. They showed me where they were living, and we talked about our experiences in life, and how they think about challenges and everything. And we also went parties, of course. After 2 weeks, yeah, which is I highly recommend going to a party with Maasai people. They are so funny, really so funny. And we were dancing the whole night. And after 2 weeks, I was crying on the airport. I never cried before, and I didn't want to go back. I felt my people. I felt I have found my tribe. And then I went back, and the rest is history, as they say.
Well, I know before we hit record, you said you're getting ready for another trip over
Yeah, yeah,
there. So it sounds like, yeah, you have found. I just, from you describing, is like, wow, a simple life, but so
yeah,
much peace and joy in that.
yes.
And I'm like, oh gosh, could we ever do that here in the US? Probably not. Maybe there are places, but it's like, gosh, that sounds very intriguing. I'm like, oh, maybe put that on my bucket list.
Oh, I mean, no plumbing and electricity. I am a city girl, so I'm
I
like,
I was that too. And now
yeah,
I'm like, when I'm in the bush and I have to do, they give me a bucket and I do the washing.
that is
And
so
I'm
messed up. Like,
I'm happy that although there are so funny situations because of, as I mean, I'm white, okay, and they are So they told me, yeah, go out of the house and do the washing there because of the water and everything. And I was like, so I went out naked, of course, and everything. And I started to wash myself. And then there were people crossing and they were looking at me. I was like, I'm shining like something. And nobody was, because of course I'm white. Everyone can see that. Oh, can somebody come to me, please, and make a fence for me? So,
Yeah.
so
Funny,
they don't think
but
anything about
I
that.
am not white, and I would have done the same thing.
Yeah,
I
it's so, so funny. But
Oh my God.
yeah, and I
They
learned
probably are not like us, meaning like, oh my gosh, she's showing her. They're like, we've seen it,
no, they were interested. The women, because the women were holding it and they were looking at me. So, oh, how is this white woman looking like? Is it the same? I don't know, but it's okay because I'm like, I love curiosity and I'd rather be looked at than what is this? And so
Also love it. We're all women. We got the same parts gone. That's the
yeah,
thing.
I'm like,
Different colors, maybe,
yeah,
in
like,
some areas.
but I do understand it. It's something new, and when you haven't seen it, they have no television where they see it. So it's, I
Yeah.
get it. I
It's excitement
completely
for the day, right?
yeah, yeah.
We love to talk about that though. Like, what did they do in 1920 where there was nothing else to do? Would read and drink, I guess. I don't know. But
Yeah, the singing and dancing a lot, going
Mhm.
for walks. What I
Mm.
also like is that they sleep during the day. For example, after lunch, they just take a sleeping break. They take out their mattresses, not mattresses, so a mat. And then everyone is just there and sleeping there outside under the tree, the birds. Me, me, me. It's beautiful.
I'll take your word for it.
Wayna, I'll attest to that. Wayna is
I
definitely a city girl. I am more of a nature person. That's why it sounds very
No,
interesting,
I'm
intriguing
allergic
to
to
me.
everything outside.
Yeah, yes, you are. Makes that very difficult to do that for you.
For you,
No
we
doubt
have the
about
lodges, so you can stay there and everything's good. We do have comfort. Yeah, I mean, not me.
Yeah, provide options.
We have options. So you can still
Up
come.
to the stars, I don't see my
Yeah.
fight or flight is just like bracing for something. What's that noise? What's this? What's that?
In the beginning, so the first, because you have to pee to go out. I mean, in the
Right.
book, of course. And in the first, I was like, are there lions, any animals? They say, no, no, nothing. And then one night I went out and all of a sudden some cows were crossing the road. And I was like, hello, hi. It was so funny.
This
Yeah.
is why I have trust issues.
No.
Wow.
But it sounds very beautiful, though. It really does, and very present.
Yeah.
That would be a word my husband would use. You guys are intentional about just fellowshipping without any distractions.
Yeah, and I would say I would only think or assume that that's why so much awakening and all of that happened there because there's so much thinking and yeah, there's not all the other distractions going on. So that sounds amazing. And I think we in the US try to do that. We're just not so good at it here because there is so much distraction.
Same in Europe. What I also feel like, but this is just a feeling because I've only been to Tanzania, but I have this feeling that Africa itself, there is a reason why they call it Mother Africa. There's a reason. We all come from there. We evolved, and there is this authenticity, this I cannot say it, this spirituality there. You meet the people on a different kind of level. This is what I feel. I don't know if it's true, if it's just for Tanzania. I don't know.
Been true for the Africans that I've met when I've traveled overseas. I was in Belize, and one of them just, oh my God, her smile, her energy. 'Cause I was in a bad mood. My husband had got on my last nerves. I'm gonna say that.
They can do that sometimes.
It's so, but her joy, that her internal joy, she was like, sister, you're in this beautiful place. Like, how can you hold that? She was like, look at this, and it's like she gave me a hug just with her smile and her presence. And
Yeah.
I was like, sister, I received that. And thank
Yeah.
you, for who you are. Because it takes, like, you don't find people that content, for lack of a better word. They're not worried about situations or anything. They're just living in the moment.
That's true. And that's community is so important there. The African people always say, yeah, but they have no big houses. And I'm like, they don't need it. They just sleep there.
Like
And
we're
it's,
good.
They just go out. Everything is outside. And I love it. I go out, for example, to just get something to eat or whatever. And I meet a hell lot of people and everyone wants to talk to me. Here in Austria, I go out with my dogs. Nobody talks with me. I'm always alone. And I'm like, I don't like this. No.
Preaching, girl, preach. This is my life,
Mm.
I have a yapping dog. That's my comfort until 8 o'clock tonight when everybody comes home.
Yeah.
Well, Silvia, share with us
Mhm.
more about your awakening there and why you continue to go back. What draws you besides, like, it sounds amazing, like the simpleness of life and that awakening. Share more about that or go more into that. Like, what draws you there? What's
So as I
holding
said
you?
before, I had everything, but I was unhappy. And when I went there, it was, I cannot really explain it. It's the energy of the Maasai. It's also something I can sense if somebody's a Maasai or if it's another local, although the other locals are also very sweet, but the Maasai have something special about them. And I don't know what they did with me, to be honest, but for the first time, I reconnected with myself. I felt so happy. I was able to let go. Maybe it's also because when you are on holidays and you're meeting this, or you're in this place for the first time and it's so many new things, then maybe you're opening up. I don't know. But it was also, I remember this one time when I went to the Maasai Boma for the first time. And I remember my friend, he said, oh yeah, I'm going to the hairdresser, I do something. And I was like, then I'm alone. We don't speak the same language. Are you crazy? You cannot go. So he left me with the women and the kids for like 3 or 4 hours. And first I was like, oh shit, what am I going to do now? But then it was so magical. The women and I, we were talking on a soul level, if that makes sense. We were talking with hand and feet because internet is not working there. So you cannot even look into the dictionary or something. And it was the most beautiful time of my life. So I think this plus the simplicity just cracked something open in me. And they gave me back this joy in my life. Yeah, this is the point, I think.
So do you continue to go back to resurface that joy? Is that why you continue to go back?
I go back because I have my Maasai family there. So another friend, Isaiah, his second daughter or his second child is a girl, and he gave her my name. So that's baby Silvia. So I want to see her, and I just feel home there. And I have also, because I was talking a lot with them, and I found out that they still get these circumcisions. So the women and the men, but for the women, they cut away the clitoris. So this has a very big impact. And so some of them, they say it completely changed their life. Some of them died. And they told me, yeah, we want this to change. So I also go back in order to do something for them, to give back, to be able to initiate the change, because actually the change has to come from them within. But maybe I am the one who, because I'm talking about it and I'm talking also on podcasts about it, I can support them in their journey. Yeah, this is what I'm also doing. So I initiated this Empower Her project to help the girls and the women, the Maasai women who gave me so much. Yeah.
That sounds interesting. So talk more about that. Empower Her, what you're doing, and obviously you probably would like support in that or something, but talk more about that. What is that project?
Yeah, it's a grassroots project. So I'm at the beginning at it. Right now, we are in the phase where we want to collect money. I co-created it with 2 Maasai and my gynecologist. She's a doctor and she's retiring soon, so then she will also come there. The goal is really to empower them, to teach them about the health aspects. It's about women's hygiene. It's about supporting them also with business ideas and giving them the basic education. So like English, mathematics, how to read a contract, what happens when I sign a contract, all these stuff, how to build a business. And we teach them also, or we want to teach them also to make a living for themselves, because sometimes the women, they are left from the men and then they have to support the families by themselves. But without education, how are they going to do that? And there are also no role models or something like that. And so my idea is also to get the elders into the boat when we provide this education. I also hope to provide the education from the Maasai side, so they don't get their culture is not getting lost, because like everywhere in the world, the young people, they forget the old traditions, they forget about the old things. So I want to mix all that together and then create a new space for women where don't have to endure these circumcisions. That's the big goal.
Yeah, that is beautiful, and I would definitely love to partake in that initiative. Just thinking when we go across seas or whatever, how we can best make an impact. I would love that, and that is it's just beautiful. And man, I think we get so caught up
Yeah,
over here in our own foolishness, and
of
don't forget
course.
that people are not getting their basic necessities. So
Yeah.
it's very grounding to hear what the women over there are going through.
And we are open. So it's not only about donations. I'm also looking for people who can support me with marketing, with the whole organization stuff, because raising the money is not the easiest part. And you have to know a lot of people. So if there's somebody who's listening to it now and says, "Oh, I can do something from America, from wherever," this is good. Or people, retired teachers, retired doctors who can come there and for a few months maybe and teach the Maasai. So it's something like that, because I don't want to build a school. It's more
Right.
like providing the knowledge, basically. Yeah.
So you
Yeah.
have
You have somebody I could tap on for that too. But like, just
Yeah,
go
it
with
would be great.
it for like 3 weeks, and we'll just have a blast. Because my stepmom is
Exactly.
a retired teacher. I'm like, come on, let's go travel.
That would
So
be great.
it would be
yeah.
awesome if I could talk her into it. So I don't know, but we'll see. Yeah,
We
we'll
can
see.
Well,
talk
well,
about this.
yeah, Lawena.
Yes, ma'am.
Whoa, that was a huge switch from
Love.
I can't do that outside. Like,
We get her.
oh,
The shift came when there are people in need. The shift
yes.
The Maasai magic, I tell
came.
you, it's the Maasai magic.
Yeah. It's the spiritual piece that's
Yeah,
come
it's
apart,
the
and it's
Maasai
like
magic, I tell
you
you.
can do that. I am
Yeah.
definitely one of those people that speaks to the ancestors, or the ancestors speak to me and my
Mm.
niece. They don't speak to everybody, only a couple of us.
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
it's just thinking in the terms of just spiritual and what can I leave
Mm.
behind. And your whole experience reminds me kind of myself. I'm not there yet. I'm not where you at. I haven't found that full joy yet. Just thinking of transitions after my son had passed away, and kind of what I want to leave behind,
Mm.
and what I want to show my children that are left, how you
Yeah,
take care of people and how you love on others. So those things are very important.
be hard also. Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
My latest thing is any kid with glasses, because my 3-year-old had glasses. So any
Mhm.
kid with glasses, I'm like, oh my God. It
Mhm.
changes, grief comes in waves.
But I also
Mhm.
feel like, I don't know how it is for you, but as I had this third awakening, and I had this. I mean, we can talk about it here. I had this awakening with the help of magic mushrooms, with the help of psilocybin, and after it, it was like 2 weeks after it. I had this. Because first you're so euphoric and everything, and then you're coming back to reality, and reality hits hard again, and you have to integrate everything. And this is what I also want to help the people with now. And so I was cooking something, and I didn't really have nothing in my mind. And my grandmother passed away 2 months before that. And I was sitting in the kitchen preparing the pumpkin. And all of a sudden I had this woo from my grandmother. And she was like she was behind me. I still get the goosebumps. She was there and I felt her. And she was like, "Yeah, I'm so sorry," because we had some issue before she died. "I'm so sorry. I didn't understand you." And it was coming like a flood. And I started to cry like a baby. And this is how I know 100% they are with us. They are here to protect us, even if they're on
No,
the other.
I've seen it several different
Yeah.
times. And
Mhm.
I might want to dedicate a podcast to one that I witnessed myself, of my cousin's wife passing away, and how she came and spoke back to her children, because they were
Mm.
having a
Wow.
hard time. And I watched that with my own eyes. So they're here, they're guiding us. We just got to slow down enough to listen.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that is the key, is really
That's
slowing down. And I think we don't take that time. There's no doubt about that. We don't take the time to slow down and listen and be even aware that they're around us. And that's scary for a lot of people too, to think that they're here. And I too believe that they are. Many people look at it as, the cardinal or the butterflies or those kind of signs, but to physically feel like you did,
mm,
Sylvia, and see, we always talk here in the house, Tom and I, when the electric does some craziness,
mm,
it's like, okay, who's here now?
Yeah.
And at first, he's like, what are you talking about? And I think he's getting it. He's starting to get it more. So it's interesting. So I love that.
And I think in our society, and I'm talking about the Western world in general, so US, Europe, whatever, we are taught from small on, this is nothing, this is just fantasy, this is not real. And also death is something we completely leave out, the same like sexuality. So these are things we don't touch, we don't talk, we hide it. And I think you cannot hide or exclude things that are so important in life, and they find their way back. I'd rather have these conversations now and step by step and be aware of it than be like overwhelmed from a sudden death of my mom or whoever might die in the future.
So true. I definitely got real clear with my family about grief and death and dying and what happens if I'm gone, if this person's gone, whatever. So I'm just like, hey, here's my wishes for the group. So you all hear it at the same time, which they did not like, felt it was kind of morbid. But after having 10 funerals in one year, I think it's a conversation we need to have. So I'm kind of like the black
Reality.
sheep of the family, because I'll say what people won't.
Probably right before this episode airs, I'll have an episode of someone that works at a funeral home and talking about all of that prearranging and being open about and all of those things, how important. And me working at a funeral home for up to close to 15 years, it's very important. It is something we talk about on a regular basis with my family and with my daughter. So I love that we're talking about that and we're making that more aware, and part of life. And the same, like you
Yeah,
said, Sylvia, like talking about, like you said, your mom dying. It's gonna happen.
it will happen one day.
There's no doubt about that. It's gonna happen. So why not talk about it? And
And
then
that's
the
also
grief that's coming with that. Yeah.
and it's also what makes the life so precious, that it's ending. Because
Yeah.
imagine if it's forever, then nothing is special because you can have it again and again, again and again.
Yeah.
Wouldn't be as beautiful.
Yeah, for sure. So tell us a little more, because I'm intrigued, a little bit more about your trips. What else have happened? I mean, you shared some funny stories.
Yeah.
You've shared some awakenings there. Any other thing you'd like to share about your trips there?
The trips to Tanzania
Yeah.
or the other trips? Okay, so these trips. Yeah,
Let's talk about those trips. The
physical trips. Tanzania is just so diverse. There are so many things going on there, and I feel like in the future I would like to host a retreat there because the energies there are so grounding, and it's so you can get to the core very very easy. Yeah, and then you have to do something with it.
Let's do a retreat there.
Yeah, and of course Zanzibar. Zanzibar is a pearl in the Indian Ocean, white beaches, paradise.
Oh my, that sounds
It's beautiful.
okay. Yeah. What year shall we do that, Wayna?
6, the year of the beginnings. No, 27. I don't know.
I got my passport. We can go at any time. Just let
Me too.
let's see what the price of the tickets are first. We might have to work out the payment plan first, but
I make sure that I'm there too, and then I will show you everything. I will show you.
that would be great. So we got 2 trips, Teresa, so far. We got Philippines with Donna, and now we got
Yeah.
me and Teresa we got some scaling to do, you know?
Maasai Boma, and then you will see baby Silvia because my best friend has had his baby, and there will be another named after one of my parents. We still don't know which one.
Oh, so
And
cute.
so I'll show you my Maasai family. I call them my Maasai family. I'm a Toroka officially with the Maasai in LRI. Yes, this is my family there.
I love it. I love it. So for any of the listeners that maybe are walking through their own transitions, or you spoke to depression and some other things, maybe loss, maybe identity shifts or spiritual awakening, whatever kind of what message would you want to leave them with today? And tying in the coaching too that you do. Share a little bit to them.
So after I came to Tanzania, I changed my profession to
Okay.
being a coach. I did my ICF accreditation, and I started to work with women especially. I mean, I'm also working with men, but only men who are serious, because I don't want the flirting part. I had this a lot. This is why I was focusing on the women, because and because they are easier to work with, because they're more open. So if there are any men who are
Right.
open, I'm also here. But I'm focusing on women, and I wanted to help them to reconnect with themselves. The same like we talked before. In the Western world, we have everything. Find the simplicity in life again. Find out what's really important in my life, and what is it that I don't need anymore, and just let those things go. It's about self-love, focusing on relationships, on connections, on deep connections, something that you really value. And so this is one part that I'm doing. And then I said before, I had my spiritual awakening with the help of the magic mushrooms, following my really very hard phase of depression. And so I'm also going into this direction now. I'm just making my accreditation for that, to becoming a psychedelic integration coach, because what I've learned is that these hardships that you're going through, these depressions, maybe it's somebody died, maybe other experiences that really pulled you down and showed you the dark side of life, they are so important for experiencing the beautiful things, because you realize that everywhere there's shadow, there's light. And it makes your life much more beautiful, and you learn so much about it. You stay grounded. You don't become arrogant, because this is not the right place or time to be arrogant. You have to be grounded, but you have to be also self-aware and love yourself. So this is what I've learned.
And
Mm.
self-love is so important. You man, it's so many layers working with some of the clients to
Yeah.
get to where that negative self-talk came from.
Yeah.
You almost have to remind them, like, "You have been through hard things. This is where it started. Now we
Mhm.
know. Let's unlearn that."
And with
Yeah.
the help of the psychedelics, it gets easier, because they help the brain, they mix it up, and they
Mhm.
help you to get out of these negative self-talks. They
Correct.
shut down this system that is responsible for all these patterns that you have, these negative things, and they
Right.
mix it up and bring a little bit light into it, and make the change. And I'm not talking about the big trips. I'm also talking about microdosing. So look into it. It's
Yeah, definitely. Yeah,
Mm,
yeah. Some
interesting.
awareness, get you some different kind of support. Yeah, yeah, I'm with you. I'm open to
Yeah.
all of it because everybody needs different things. One person might be mushrooms, another person may be THC, it may be CBD, it may be actual mood altering pills or whatever.
or
So
or
I'm just
breathe.
open. Yeah, and I just ask everybody else to be open to see what works best.
Yeah. Yeah, open and non-judgmental, because you're
Exactly.
right. Things work different for different people. There's no doubt about that, because we're all different.
It's a vehicle. The mushrooms are the vehicle. Breathing, whatever, it's just a vehicle to get there. And how you get there, through meditation. Some people cannot do it through meditation. Do it. Just go there.
Yeah,
Just do it.
I love that.
You are definitely right. The answers are definitely inside of us.
Mm-hmm.
As coaches, as we all are, we're just kind of guiding them there. We're just a guide. But
Mhm.
they know what they need. It's already there. We just got to help them develop it and be aware. Like Teresa and I were saying earlier, slowing down more,
Yeah.
know what fits.
Listen to this voice inside. For me, it was like, don't take the antidepressants, look for something else. And for me, I had this pull. I wanted to do it, and I knew it's safe for me and it's good for me, with intention and with everything. And it showed me what I needed to know. And I don't have to, doesn't have to be fancy. It was not a fancy thing. Just find whatever it is that helps you, and don't give up hope, because there is hope. And that's also maybe an important message.
That's beautiful. Well, I so much want to thank you for joining us, sharing your heart, sharing some
Yes.
laughter, sharing some
Yes.
wisdom,
Yeah,
intriguing us. And now we've got another thing on our bucket list to support and
right.
help, and a retreat
Mhm.
going. I mean, all of these things that have sparked from this very short conversation has been amazing. And just those reminders of it's within us,
Mm.
finding the right tools, finding the right person to help pull that information from you, because you have it. And
Yeah.
there's many, many different ways to heal, because we're all individuals. So just finding that right thing. And this is another example. So share with us real quick before we close, if someone wants to reach out to you, I think you have a website. If they're in your area, they would like to connect with you. How do they do that? Share with us how they do that.
So,
And we'll put all of this in the show note, of course, but I want you to share it here.
Great. So I'm working with people from everywhere in the world. I had somebody from India, somebody from Canada. So I'm really very international. I'm also already, as I said before, I had this spiritual awakening just before, and I'm reconstructing everything. But the safest thing is on the www info, or the new one will be after awakening.com. So either one is good. I will share with you the new one as well, and just contact me there. You have all the information there, my number, my email address, and I will share with you also my social medias. So just send me a message, drop me a message, and tell me what it is. If you need guidance to yourself, to Tanzania, to the Maasai, support me in the project. I'm here.
Awesome. If you want to be part of the retreat when we plan it.
Yes. What we do retreat.
It is.
I want to do it with you. It would be so cool.
Yeah, that would be. I'm excited about that. New things to plan for 2026 for sure.
Yeah.
That we haven't planned already.
Exactly. Or 27. Yeah, open.
Yeah. We'll get it on the calendar. So again, thank you so much. I truly have enjoyed this. And for the listeners, if this is an episode that kind of resonated with you, or someone's name or thought of them came to mind, please share it with them and encourage them to connect with one of us, because we're all three very much women that want to support and help others on their journey in the best way for them. So thanks for coming.
Thank you so much. It's been amazing.
Thank you. Yeah, I can share it. I could talk with you forever.
I believe we probably could. So we may have to do this again down the road.
Absolutely. I'm up to it completely.
Yeah. We just have to figure out the time zone thing so it works.
Or we do it in Zanzibar. Make a video with all the three of us in Zanzibar.
So cute. I love it.
Awesome.
We make a special edition.
So reminding you, the listeners, that even though you may have experienced loss, there may be depression, there may be an awakening that you need, that there is always a path to light and love and new beginnings. So thanks for joining us.
That's beautiful. Thank you.